Komura Kaede has a crush on his classmate Mie. He constantly daydreams about Mie even though he hasn't known her for very long, and is so distracted he almost gets hit by a car. The two of them share the same class and even sit next to each other. And although Komura should probably be paying attention in class, he constantly spies on Mie from the corner of his eye. Since they sit in the back of the class, nobody else seems to notice Komura watching Mie. The seating arrangement in their class is new and he has only known Mie for 3 days. Komura has noticed that she tends to say weird things, like calling mechanical pencils pet names, and she always seems to have a spaced out look. Komura also thinks that she is looking at him sometimes. One day after he arrives in class, he discovers Mie without her glasses looking very serious. Komura wonders if she is grumpy, but after Mie says good morning to him, she tells him that she has forgotten her glasses and that she might look annoyed to others because she has to concentrate. She reveals that she has terrible eyesight without her glasses, and that she has a habit of accidentally leaving them at home. Komura decides that as her neighbor he should try to support her, and make sure she has a smooth time without her glasses. He gets his first opportunity to help when Mie has trouble distinguishing between the different textbooks she has. But when he offers to help her, he becomes embarrassed with how mature and serious she looks. Instead, Komura offers her his textbook to use, but when she scoots closer to him to look, he almost gets thrown off his chair in embarrassment. They end up moving their desks together to work on assignments together, and Mie has to stare very close to the textbook to understand it. She apologizes for troubling Komura, but an embarrassed Komura tells her it's okay. Since Mie has to look very closely at the textbook, Komura decides to treasure it. Suddenly Mie puts her face very close to him because she has trouble seeing who he is, and an embarrassed Komura reveals to her that he is her new class neighbor. After thanking him again, Mie goes back to reading, and Komura realizes later that he spent so much time watching Mie that he learned nothing in class that day. After school ends, Komura starts to head home, but he runs into Mie. She can't see who he is, so he has to announce his presence to her. Komura wonders why Mie is randomly sitting down at the school entrance, and she reveals she is having trouble with her shoes. Mie has actually gotten the wrong shoes from a different locker because she can't see well, and she tried to find a pair of shoes that fit her well, but obviously ended up with the wrong ones. Komura finds out that Mie is actually wearing his shoes, and although he is a little embarrassed, he tries to help her find her real shoes. But when they get to her locker, Komura discovers that there is a frog in her locker. Since Mie can't see, she doesn't notice the frog, so Komura helps the frog escape before getting her shoes. Later they switch shoes, but Komura notices Mie's shoes are untied before she leaves. He helps her tie her shoes but is a bit embarrassed by how close they are. Mie earnestly thanks Komura for his help, and their faces end up close to each other because Mie wants to study his face so she won't forget it. Komura is struck by the beauty in her eyes, but Mie reveals that she actually can't see him very well, so when she gets her glasses the next day they should meet properly. Mie elegantly leaves the school, and is able to get home because she lives very close to class. And Komura later secretly hopes that Mie forgets her classes again. The next morning he sees Mie walking to school with her friend, and overhears that she accidentally stepped on her glasses and broke them. At gym class, Komura is worried that Mie will injure herself at dodgeball, even though Mie is confident in her abilities. Komura decides to step in front of her, but he ends up losing very quickly. Later, Komura is feeling tired after gym class when their teacher starts to yell at Mie. Komura tries to tell Mie the teacher thinks she is asleep, but he discovers that Mie really is asleep in the textbook. Komura needs to wake her up before the teacher walks over to discover her sleeping, but he is too embarrassed to wake her up. Instead, Komura tells the teacher that Mie forgot her glasses that day, and needs to keep her head down to read the textbook. After the teacher is satisfied, Mie ends up waking up on her own, but in her tired state she accidentally calls Komura dad. After she gets close to seemingly confirming his identity, Komura discovers that Mie is sort of sleepwalking and she accidentally falls asleep on his shoulder. Luckily, his teacher arrives to swat her and wake her up for real. The next day, Mie still doesn't have her glasses, and she shocks Komura by staring into his face again to confirm his identity. The next day, Komura watches as Mie continues to have trouble at school when she keeps forgetting her glasses. In particular, she has to help other students by serving food, but she can't really see what food she is giving to her classmates. Seeing how much trouble she has, Komura starts to feel bad for his wish that she forget her glasses, and he feels partially responsible. As Mie struggles with lunch duty, Komura is determined to help her, but when he offers to help, Mie tells him she is fine. Komura admires Mie's tenacity and determination, but she continues to serve her classmates badly. They make small talk around the food they like, and Komura watches as she tries her best to complete her lunch duties. Afterwards, they have lunch together, and Mie confesses that she made sure to keep extra helpings for him in exchange for his help the previous day. Still embarrassed about the day before, Komura agrees to keep her extra portion a secret even though the other students clearly see it. And he discovers that the mostly blind Mie actually gave him extra potatoes instead of meat anyway. A week passes and Mie accidentally forgets her glasses again. She reveals to Komura that her family has gotten her contact lenses, but she hates how they feel so she doesn't wear them. Mie is determined to give them a try anyway, even though Komura tells her not to force herself. To spare Mie the discomfort of contact lenses, Komura dramatically promises to protect her and Mie cries and thanks him. Later, Mie is back in class with glasses, but Komura is surprised with how intense she is looking. She reveals that with the weather changing she has to squint more because her glasses fog over quite often. At first Mie doesn't recognize another student because of how badly her glasses fog over, and Komura has to correct her. She tells him it's okay as long as she can still recognize him, which shocks him. Afterwards, Mie asks to trade phone numbers so they can text each other in case Mie happens to forget her glasses again. Mie also reveals that she's usually too embarrassed when forgetting her glasses to ask her family to help her. Soon Komura gets spammed with messages, as the next morning she asks him to meet her at the nearby train station. He finds her at the station without her glasses and she reveals she accidentally fell asleep on the train and lost her glasses. She needs his help getting to her destination, and he agrees, and is embarrassed because they are meeting during the weekend and outside of school. After she grabs his hand, the two of them walk together and she guides him to a nearby cafe. Mie loves going to this cafe because it serves a special cake on the weekends that she loves. But when she tries to eat it without her glasses, she keeps missing the cake. Komura ends up helping her finish the cake, and she leads him to a nearby glasses shop where she can get another pair of glasses. After she finds another pair, Komura excuses himself to leave but Mie prevents him, asking if he is free to continue to hang out a little longer now that she can see him properly. An embarrassed Komura agrees, so they continue to spend time together at an arcade in a nearby park. At the end of the day they part ways at the station, and Komura wonders if he was dreaming or if he had just gone on a date with Mie. Meanwhile, Mie heads home feeling happy thinking about Komura. The next day when they return to school, Mie is wearing a face mask and she reveals that she might have gotten a cold. Komura notices that her glasses are completely fogged over, just like their classmate Takeda. But when she hears other students laughing about his fogged up glasses, she quickly takes hers off out of embarrassment. One day after school, Komura finds Mie acting strangely like a cat after school. After watching her meow like a cat, he wonders if he is looking at a cat, but without her glasses Mie was actually thinking a white plastic bag was a cat the whole time. Later at school, Komura becomes distressed when he sees his popular classmate Azuma helping Mie. He feels jealous of Azuma and is shocked when he sees the other boy act closer to Mie. But when a sad Komura goes to leave, Mie accidentally calls Azuma Komura because she can't see well with her glasses. Mie also becomes embarrassed because of how casually she acted with Azuma. This strangely makes Komura feel better. The next day Mie forgets her glasses again and she gets advice from her friends to keep her eyes open so she won't look grumpy. Later at school, Komura is struck by a wide-eyed Mie, but she can't keep her eyes open for very long. Komura is so shocked by Mie's look that he goes home very scared. The next day, Mie asks Komura to help her with a word game because she always loses against her friend Asuka. But although Komura wants to help her, she keeps losing the word game. They end up ending the game embarrassed when she accidentally says his name. Afterwards they are sent to cleaning duty, and Komura becomes worried for Mie when he sees a bug on a wall close to Mie. Since Mie doesn't have her glasses, she can't see the bug. Komura tries to lead her away from the wall without telling her about the bug. Mie gets curious and gets close to him, but a classmate sees the bug and out of fear Mie jumps on him. Later, Komura arrives at his classroom to find Mie's glasses on her forehead. He helps her find them and helps her put the glasses on. Later at school, Mie overhears a girl trying to send a love confession. The girl drops the letter and Mie tries to read it, but since she can't, she gives it to Komura to read. Komura doesn't want to read it, but he quickly realizes the love letter is for the popular Azuma. After Komura tells her it's for Azuma, Mie misunderstands the situation and delivers the letter to him without knowing it's a love letter. The class becomes shocked when Mie casually delivers the letter to Azuma, and Mie's friends ask her if she has a crush on him. Mie continues to misunderstand the situation by saying that she likes Azuma as a friend. Azuma heads out to read the letter and Komura goes to spy on him, and he sees him smiling at the letter. A frustrated Komura wants to clear up the misunderstanding, but he begins to doubt himself because Azuma is much more skilled and popular than he is. After brooding for a few minutes, Mie seems to detect that Komura is troubled, so she asks him what's wrong. Komura tries to clear up the misunderstanding, but he is unsuccessful. Komura then becomes shocked when Mie tells him that the class should ask if she liked him, because they have become very close. Azuma suddenly appears with a reply letter and Mie again tries to read it. Since she doesn't have her glasses, she hands the letter to Komura to read with encouragement from Azuma. Komura struggles to read the letter, but is shocked when the letter says, "Komura likes you too, Mie." Azuma clears up the misunderstanding with the class, and Komura becomes too embarrassed to tell Mie the real contents of the letter, even though Azuma seems to be supporting them as a future couple. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.